nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zip right through this. All right.
I just hope that wasn't a typo in the newspaper,
What's that?
the 200,000.
Oh, that might be.
Right.
All right, first up, approval of the minutes. I say Minuteman.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
They look pretty good. They only have a typo.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, okay. Next up, authorization of the payment of bills.
I'll make a motion that we pay the bills.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, good. All right, privilege of the floor, once, twice, thrice. Old business, glass recycling bin at the DPW site.
Just wanted to, we've got it all, it's up and operational at the DPW by the community gardens. So if you have your clean glass, just take the lids off and dump it in. It's a great way to divert glass from our garbage stream, and it helps cut down on a whole lot of different things. So that's a pretty good system, and our guys were a little bit over half full right now. So Phil said they're going to get it taken over. So
I have to drive by. How big?
it's, you know, those plastic containers that are around this big that have the wire mesh around the side. They used a mud flap for the top to keep the rain out. You just pick that up, throw your glass in, and then they can take a forklift, load it on the back of the truck. They've already coordinated with Chris Spandolini, so they just take it right over to the county and dump it off. So what I was going to check with Phil later is see if we can get a weight on it, and that way we can keep track on how much
Yeah, that's a good idea.
on that. I don't know if it's feasible or not, but I think it might.
Good data,
Yeah.
good data.
But they're taking it to the dump to get a scale up there.
Well, no, they're taking it to the recycling center
Oh,
because that's
oh,
where
they
the
do
glass
too?
is. Yeah, good, because right now you
Scale it beside it.
you can take your glass over to the county recycling and drop it off there, but
They
it's
got
just
scale
easier for our residents when it's
Mhm.
local. But I wanted to put that back out there. It's up and operational, and I think we're gonna have it in the newsletter as well.
Very good.
Before you dive right in, we back up to privilege of the floor. I think village historian Martin Sweeney wanted to link tonight. I'm not sure if you actually wanted something to say or not.
Martin, did you have something?
Guess not.
Well,
Catch you later.
if he jumps in, we'll know. All right, B&L. You're here, close the deal. Let's talk about some sewer stuff. We had another meeting about we were waiting on anything outstanding from you guys? I don't think we were you? Were we?
I think we gave you a late addition to your packets, maybe an hour or
Oh.
so.
Yes, you brought pretty
Pass it
copies.
along. That might help with our discussion
Okay, there you go.
as we continue to adjust alternatives.
Yeah, I haven't seen this video.
Oh, thank you. All right.
What have we decided to do? Go for the whole dog or what?
Well, that's what we're gonna decide right now.
Well, I think we should personally. This infrastructure is so important. And it's not that much more money versus the three alternatives.
Do you want me to jump in, Hal, and just
Yes,
explain a little
please.
bit of what we have in front of us? So I think the previous board meeting, when we talked about this, we were trying to decide whether to move forward with the current financing or not. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the current plan is to move forward with the financing that we do have in place. So that brings us to, which alternative do we do? What size scope of the project? And that's the second page that you guys have in your packet. We try to simplify things as best as we can. The first thing I do want to point out is that our number of units have changed. And that's because Tanya has pointed out to us that we were only using the Village of Homer units. and we did not have the town of Portlandville that
Oh.
were connected in there, so right there, we dropped our cost per unit down. So it's nice when that happens. But we have our three different alternatives. Alternative one being the whole project, everything that we've identified with Buzz. That's the $5.5 million cost. Alternative two, this would be scaling things back. As we discussed a little bit with you, Hal, on the phone, you had said, well, the $100 or $95 might be a little too expensive. And my question to you is, well, what do you think would be palatable? And I think that's where this $80 per unit came up. And to get to that point, we would have to obviously take some things out of the project. And I was pointing to things like some of the building improvements to the main pump station, as well as taking out a new generator for that main pump station. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but if we want to back into a number, $80 per unit, that's an option. And then alternative three, which would be our most scaled back option. This is what we talked about the last time, the priority items. If we really had to do things right now that can't wait at all, it would be the main village pump station, Brentwood, North Main, Willow, and then electrical and controls for all the stations.
All right. Now I see that you've got the water tank. I don't know. I don't think we were looking at a concrete tank, were we?
We had both concrete and the glass line steel in our report.
Okay.
What my typical approach is for just a tank project, where the concrete might be a little bit more expensive. In your report, you just use the more expensive one so that you could go pursue more funding.
Oh, crafty. I like it.
Because all the funding is percentage based.
Got
So if you do fall back to the glass line steel tank, that grant percentage will adjust itself, but you can't, as we're finding out, you can't go ask for more in the same project. You can always scale it back. So that would be your worst case, if you will, project cost for the tank is the 3.5 for concrete.
Right.
Taylor, what is the longevity of a concrete tank versus a glass lined steel tank?
Very highly debated topic. Concrete tanks, you guys obviously have one. There's some that are pushing 100 years. The glass line steel manufacturers will certainly advocate that their tanks will last. They won't say 100 years, but they'll last 50 plus. They do have extra maintenance with them. They have, it's called cathode protection. They have to protect from corrosion. So there is some costs that go into that. My opinion, you have a concrete tank that's 12 inches thick. It's going to last longer than a glass line steel tank that's, a half inch thick. We do a lot of AquaStore tanks, so I'm not bashing AquaStore
Sure.
at all. They are a great, cost-effective option.
What's the cost difference? Do you recall offhand or ballpark or?
Jacqueline has that number.
I hope I didn't.
Oh, I do have it here. Let's see. The 2.9 was the estimate for the AquaStore tank.
Oh, so really not that much. I mean, well, yeah, $500,000, but
It depends on the size. As the smaller size tanks, AquaStore is much more cost competitive.
there you go. Okay.
If you're in like 200,000 gallons or less, most people are going with an AquaStore. As you get bigger, they become much more comparable from a cost perspective.
Okay.
And what gallons are we looking at for this one?
I think this one we had was a 400,000.
Yeah, just under 4.
Pump 800,000 gallons a lot of days. Sometimes we only use 400,000 a day. So there have been over, so you never know.
Well, our big one. Buzz, how much does our big one hold?
Let's say 100,000.
Yeah.
Well, the big one's 800,000. Okay.
Yep.
Size, that way you can swap them out if you have to. I'm a proponent for going for it. We're talking $15 difference, and alternative 3 is only $4. I mean, this stuff is 60 years old or, older, I don't know. I'm using 1960 as my baseline. Infrastructure is so important. Hopefully we can get some other grants in the future to fix it, maybe replace some of this, or maybe they'll forgive some of the debt. Who knows, when all this, but at least we've started, we're shovel ready, we're moving. I'm for it. I'm for alternative one.
Alternative ones.
Buzz, how much are our two tanks on the east side of 81?
Well, they would have been close to the 400 mark. That's why we kind of picked that as our goal, I guess, to start with.
Okay.
Did you get a chance to see this document, Buzz?
I have not. We were at a class all day today, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm open.
I'm kind of leaning towards alternative one. I know it's higher, but right now we've got the money. It's set. We're not going to have. It becomes much more difficult later on. And Buzz, how old is our generator at the main pump station?
Well, it's an original generator, so it was back in there in 71, probably.
50 years old. That's an old engine.
And
You tell me about it.
and our electrical controls are a constant source of concern, aren't they, Buzz?
They're the same year, so they're all. I mean, it served us well. I can't say that and it's still serving us.
Yeah. I'd go for alternative one.
Yeah, thoughts, Kevin?
Well, I'm sure some people are gonna block it to 95, but
Well, it would be the 122.36. We added the tank, the water tank. Divided by 4.
But really the difference between alternative one and alternative two,
Is not, yeah,
no, it's not.
more looking at the big scheme of things.
right.
Still 60 years old, 50 years old.
And Taylor, what is this amortized out to? How long?
30 years.
30 years?
38 or 30?
30.
30,
EFC is 30. If it's rural development, they're typically 30.
38. Okay.
Well, Mr. Grant?
I think that it makes sense to go for alternative one as well. All of this is gonna help. And doing it now and embracing all the work that needs to be done while we're here, and while we've got the funding. I think it's the right time.
Yeah, we get that $200,000 that you're gonna, have to find later because it's gonna go away. That's significant, so
All right. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept alternative one.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? I know it's big. This is a,
It's a big project.
This is one,
yeah, it's important. But I spent $5 million.
well, when do we start digging up Main Street for all the pipes and stuff? Buzz said that's $100 million. And
Oh,
we're gonna
yeah,
have
no.
to start eating that elephant
That's
one
not,
of these days too.
no municipality is gonna be able to do that.
Well, that's what I mean, but I
That's
mean,
gonna-
that's
yeah.
part of this infrastructure that we're hoping the federal government will do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna vote aye.
All right.
My other thing about this is it's better to be proactive than reactive.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, at NICOM, you get to hear the stories about the places that waited until they had a total system failure. They get a lot more money, but they also have to truck in water for the residents for a couple months.
Yeah, not gonna do that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. There you go. See, that was easy, right?
Hey, that was great.
You just had to show up and smile, and we just
I
were like,
know.
yeah, whatever you guys need.
If I could just touch on the schedule.
Yes, sir.
Because things will move a little bit quickly. Initially, these are things we've already done, but we need to redo them for the project that's been identified. So that's going to be modifying the engineer report. We need to do that. Seeker, I do want to just go through the process again. It's not hard. We have
Sure.
everything prepared. So we'll hope to come back to probably your next board meeting to start that seeker process.
Okay,
Once that is done, The last component that you'll see we'll be looking for is a modified bond resolution for the total project cost. And then once we have that complete, we would look to get into the preliminary design phase of the
Okay.
project. So, similar on the water side, you know, we have the engineering report done, but we haven't done seeker yet. So we'll have an amendment for you guys to start with that seeker. It's the same process, seeker bond resolution, and now the water project would be funding eligible. And, you know, the assumption here is that we're not going to move forward with design until we have funding in place, unless the board decides.
I think that's a good idea.
We do have some schedules outlined here that you guys can take a look at, but, you know, we're looking at a design phase. Water and sewer roughly similar, but, you know, 2022, 2023, you got to go through regulatory review and approvals, get out to bid. You know, we're in spring of 2022, and the quickest we could probably get to bid is late 2023. So these things do take time.
Sure.
Best case, we're in the construction in 2024.
Very good.
I don't think this is too early to start then. It's 2024. That means
Yeah.
more time for our old stuff to break down even. So this is a great vote, people. I'm very proud of this.
Buzz, you happy with this?
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to express it, the main reason of a new tank for the people listening out there is if any problems with the tank we have with the concrete tank, I mean, the years have passed very quickly. It's already 17 years old. If it needs repairs and had to drain the tank, we got to count on something. So
Right.
it's the benefit of having the two tanks,
Right.
and also considering the other ones are getting bad shape.
Because they're 100 years old.
They're older than me and Ed, I can tell you that.
Combined. He's a youngin.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Dan, it looks like someone asked something in the chat, maybe.
That's just a thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Very good.
I thought Martin had his hand raised.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Martin,
Hello, can you hear me?
we can.
Okay, I just sitting in tonight because I was curious as to whether you have taken action or will be taking any action as a board regarding the little white church on the green.
We haven't. We are going to, but right now there's some things that need to be worked out between the attorneys, and so Dante and Fran are working on it.
So nothing this evening. Okay.
No,
Are we gonna talk about it?
we'll talk about it. I mean, we'll talk about it a little. Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but we won't make any decisions this evening.
You don't need any input from me this evening, correct?
Well, it never hurts, but no, I think we're okay. I think we're still just trying to figure out the mechanics of how we're going to do it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Martin.
Bye bye.
It's
Yep.
So.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming down.
Great to see everybody.
Yeah. All right, next up is the solar discussion. So this is, I talked with Pat about this earlier. Years ago, we talked about doing, it's called community choice aggregation solar, which basically we would sign a contract and it changes everyone in the village over to solar, and then you send them out postcards that say, if you don't want to change, you send your postcard back in. That program's on hold right now, which is fine. Because we did the climate smart communities and all that, we were at 2,800 points. If we do this, which is a really light lift, you'll see, and it'll get us 200 points, puts us at 3,000, that gives us another $10,000 grant. So, and what this is we would partner with a solar firm that has solar farms in different regions, and do like sort of a marketing campaign to the community and say, do you want to change over to solar? And there's pretty good incentives. Oh yeah, we're gonna have I see Kate's on. Kate, you want to go through
Sure.
some of this? Probably
I
do a
was
better
kind
job
of-
explaining it
I
than I
was, I was kind of in the background there, so I didn't want to barrage your meeting. Hello, everybody. This is Kate Seifert. I'm with Nelnet Renewable Energy, and I work closely with many of the clean energy community coordinators throughout the region of New York. We are supporting a really large campaign in Albany County. And I reached out to Hal because we have a solar farm that we are trying to fill with subscribers. And I wanted to offer an incentive that we're doing for Albany to some of the communities where you guys are located, where we're offering, for Solarize Albany, we're offering $200 gift card for someone who signs on to community solar. That could be a resident or a business. And then Solarize Albany, their campaign, they didn't want to have any funds going to them, to the campaign. So it all went to the subscriber. I told how we are flexible and we could split it between the subscriber, and then we would incent the village $100 for everyone who signs on. I believe you guys need 10 with the size of your village. You just need 10 subscribers. I don't know how many people are in the room there, but you might be halfway there. And then once you reach your 10 subscribers, then and I helped Amanda put together your scoping document yesterday. So we did the best we could, and you just have to fill out a few more pieces. That goes to NYSERDA. Once that's submitted, then once you get the subscribers signed on, then the list goes to NYSERDA, and then you are eligible for the grant. There are 8 grants left. 2 weeks ago, there were 12. And so they're first come, first serve. They are not going to keep reissuing these grants for this specific part of their program. So it's really easy. We're working with a lot of communities. We've got, I think we talked with Hal about putting a flyer or something in the newsletter that goes out every bi-monthly that has all the information. So we're going to do all the marketing with your village logo. We have social media posts we give people. We have flyers. Pretty much we work with communities to do whatever we can do to help them get those subscribers easily. So the enrollment process probably takes about 5 minutes. It's really easy. We've got a dedicated customer service team that helps people with any questions, helps them through getting their account set up, and then they're ready to go. So, and the nice thing is these credits, these savings will start soon because the solar farm is live and producing energy. So it's not a long wait at all to start getting savings on utility bills. So it's a pretty seamless process, and we're offering some pretty good incentives.
So you save roughly about 10% on your electric costs. And it's community solar, so that they build these solar farms, and you basically, rather than having solar panels on your roof, you subscribe to one of those locations, and that's where your energy comes from. And so we would do it where any resident that signed up got $100 gift card, and the village got $100, which we would put towards, one of our, projects like
Sidewalks or something.
or electric car charging stations, whatever. So with me, my mom, my sister, there's 3 of the 10.
Sign me up, I want to be
Right.
first. Can I be first?
Yeah, you can be first. So it's not gonna be hard to get to
the
the,
mayor first.
it's not gonna be hard to get to the 10. And again, it's not one of those things that we, I know there was a lot of resistance to the community choice. They didn't want to have to opt out at all. So this is, if you don't opt in, you're not in, kind of thing. So it's a low downside. It's
Anybody can participate too. You can be a homeowner, a renter, you can live in an apartment complex. As long as you're paying electricity bills, you're eligible. And the only people that aren't eligible, if you have rooftop, then you can't participate in community solar. But most people are looking for community solar, like you said, as an easy way to save money on energy bills and not have anything on your roof. It's a 30-day cancellation. For some reason, if someone wants to get out, they can get out. If you move to another location and it's within your same utility, you just call us up, say, I have a new address. We say, thank you very much. And we update that, and your savings keep going. So.
yeah, it's a pretty great program. And I appreciate you working with Amanda to already get the scoping document filled out.
Yeah, there's just a few pieces that you'd have to put in there, like, you don't have to fill all of it out at the end, like about just, do you have some ideas about maybe places? I think we filled out a couple things about the newsletter, maybe, or concert on the lawn, places that, and And once you reach your 10, this doesn't stop. We'll keep, we'll keep letting people sign up. So it's not like 10, we stop. It's whoever wants to keep doing this, we'll do it as long as you want us to do it. So.
Excellent.
So what do we need?
We just need
A
to approve it.
webpage or what? Oh, approve it.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to do it, we just need to approve it, and then they'll,
Well, it's an option, so I mean, why wouldn't you approve it? Because
I can't.
you're not
have a reason.
forcing anybody to sign. So it's very much volunteer, so why would we stop people from volunteering? So I'll make a motion that we accept their idea for this.
Does this come to the office to mail out, I'm guessing?
Uh,
We're
this,
mailing it to all our residents?
no, they can do the mailing. I told them about the Homer News, so that I'm sure they're gonna put an ad in the Homer News.
Ooh, Don needs money. That's good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and they'll do the mailing and everything.
So we'll send all that to us.
Yeah,
So,
And we've got our marketing department working on that flyer, and of course, we would share it with you to get your approval before we do anything with it, so.
and that'll lay out what people need to do in order to sign up.
Yep. Yeah, it will include a link. It'll include a link to go to a landing page, and it takes 2 seconds to put your name and address and your average monthly bill or usage or something like that. And then we ask people, once they get that set up, then we ask them for one copy of a bill so we can get that information. And we do all the back end work with National Grid, so there's nothing anybody has to do on the back end. And then there's a promo code. So what's really important is there's a promo code we're setting up called, I think we're calling it Solar Homer or something like that. So that when someone signs up, they put that promo code in there. That then tells us that you're part of this campaign, so that that subscriber will then get that gift card once their savings start. They'll get that gift card. So it's a tracking mechanism for us. It's also a tracking mechanism for the NYSERDA's program. And we'll send them a list of, we have a database that has everyone who signs up. We do not send any information on names or addresses or anything. It's a zip code listing purely that we would send to Amanda, who could package that up, give it to NYSERDA for the grant.
Now, how does the billing work? Will they get a separate bill, or will it be?
Yeah, so there's 2 bills. We'll get, one would come from us, one would come from National Grid, but you put the 2 together and you can see that I'm only paying 90% of my bill that I would normally pay 100%. So we can walk everybody through, anybody who has a question on how that works, but people are kind of, most of our solar projects are now going consolidated. There might be a plan to get consolidated on this, but it's a pretty, once you see it the first time, it's pretty easy. I have this bill, I have this bill, I put them together, and I'm paying a lot less than I would have just from paying my one bill.
so that
If
made
you guys have any other questions, do you have any other questions for me at all, or?
not because I've been kind of
I'll second it.
pushing us toward this for a while. All right, any other discussion? Thoughts, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, all right.
All right,
We're
I'll let
good.
you guys, I'll let you get on with your meeting then, if you don't need me anymore.
No, we're all set. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll send you that information. Thanks, everybody, for letting me participate. Have a good one. Bye.
All right.
You can save money.
Yeah,
It's a no-brainer. You can check out.
Well, no, is you don't even have to check that. You have to opt in, which is what I.
Well, I
like,
mean,
is
opt
that-
in,
Yeah.
but you can get out of it.
yeah, you can get out at any time. Yeah,
So it's not gonna cost you anything. So,
No.
and you get $100 maybe.
yeah.
Woo-hoo.
All right. Next up, approve carrying forward 2022 encumbrances to 2023 fiscal year.
And
It is done
what may
every
they
year.
be?
Yeah.
This is the list, they're in the packet.
Oh,
There's
okay.
general fund, water and sewer. They're all the ones that were approved and signed off. It's just every year we have to approve to carry them forward because these aren't finished. They're like ordered in the prior year, but they don't come in time. So for instance, the plow truck takes 16 months to get. So that's why you carry it over. And like I said, we do this every year.
I'll make the motion to approve carrying forward the 2022 conference.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Excellent. All right. Approve creating temporary labor positions for DPW, rec, water, sewer, and the village office for as-needed projects.
These are our inventory projects that we met as departments to go over our tools inventory. We have painting of igloos, we have hydrant testing. We have a lining for different sport activities and recreation. And then we have all our department reports that the interns help with and updating the website and posting minutes, the normal stuff we do every summer.
Yep.
And then we just added the inventory this year. We're doing a parks inventory and all the tools inventory.
And these are mostly Homer people, so, you know, this is all good.
Mhm.
And Tanya, they just call the office.
We actually will take applications and stuff, and then we bring them back.
So where can they get an application?
Yeah, they would call the office for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I thought you meant like, is that how we hire them?
Yeah. No, I make a motion that we approve the creating the temporary labor positions as outlined. I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right. Little White Church proposal and discussion. So basically where we're at is we're not sure if we can lease it. Well, we can lease it, but we don't know if Center for the Arts will be able to apply for the historic preservation grants if they don't own it. But we can't sell it for less than fair market value. So we're kind of trying to figure out. So it's a Dante Fran thing, trying to figure out which way to go forward with that. And I'm sure we'll arrive. at
Think of
something
what it
soon.
would cost you to tear it down, because that's the alternative, so you could be saying, hey, we're gonna save 60,000.
We couldn't have.
So it could go for $1.
On what, on how much it was worth, you mean? Oh, well, I mean, that's no problem. It's just Center for the Arts, they probably don't have that
Right.
money lying around, so we'd have to figure out, we have to just figure out. There's got to be a way.
For sure.
Worst case is, you know, we move forward with us leasing it and they wouldn't be eligible for the historic preservation.
Can we give them the CDBG funding to actually as a grant and they could pay for it with that?
Well, you know
And then
what?
they could use that on the foundation?
I kind of thought about that, right? If you bought it for this, we would give you turn around and give you a grant for that amount to work on it.
We could actually give them we have money
Right.
allocated in CDBG, so
Right.
if we had an appraisal and there's enough money, we could just give that to that, like, they could apply for the grant from us, it would qualify in CDBG, we could give it to them. Then they use the money and then they would own it, then they would use the money, we would give them another grant on the foundation.
Tanya may have just figured it out.
Dante, you tracking all that?
I'm sorry.
Loud and clear.
Good.
All right, so I like that idea very
And I'm
much.
sure you could help with making sure it qualifies for CDBG, all of our funding.
I gotta make 2 phone calls. Yes.
All right,
All right, so there
More
we go.
discussion.
That's good.
more discussion to
Yeah.
follow.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, leaves and branches policy. All right. Basically, because the DPW has so much going on, and we're going back to, and it wasn't that many years ago in the village where you recall you get on your water bill, a little thing that told you when your leaves and branches have been picked up in which part of the village.
Mhm.
And then we kind of went to all the time, like a rolling thing, but then people started expecting, you know, if I put my branches out on a Wednesday morning and I get home from work at Wednesday night, they're still there, I'm angry. I'm gonna call.
Really?
Yeah. So we kind of spoiled our residents a little too much, so we're gonna go back to, the DPW is only gonna pick up leaves and branches during April and October. And for all the other months, the compost site is there until it's closed in October. So get your leaves and branches out before the end of the month.
Another week.
You know,
Less.
you got another week.
Can we maybe extend it a week, because by the time this letter gets out?
The DPW is, we haven't officially said that, but as I talked to Bill, because this is going in the mail tomorrow, they're all sealed.
Okay,
What happens is they won't get them to Saturday, so I talked to Bill, if because it's the first
Sure.
year, if they could pick them up.
We'll do an
Next
extra week. Okay,
And
good.
then we will mail this out with the water bills that come out in October. So
Okay,
that they'll have the timely notice at the beginning of the month that will come in right as October 1st.
good. Okay. All right, so it'll go through first week of May this year.
And I appreciate his flexibility in extending it for weeks so that people have the notice
Mhm.
if there's a project they need to do.
And then the compost site will be open still on all the other times
Right.
until the end of October.
Right.
Super.
All right, update, approved bond payments for the fire truck and the water tank.
These are due May 1st and I send them through ACH from the bank. And so they're always approved here first. And in May, for May 1st, there's principal and interest. These were confirmed with it's fiscal advisors.
Right,
And they confirm the amounts before we send them, so we have no issues. And what they also confirm on this is the letters. You have to put the letters here that are in this column
right.
on the payment where they can't match them.
Ah,
So
very good.
I make a motion that we approve the bond payments for the fire truck and water tank.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to tell you, after this payment, we have 2 payments left on the fire truck, 1 more interest and 1 more principal.
That will be lovely.
Nice,
So we were paying on that for how long?
25 years.
Roughly. I wasn't here when it started, so I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, the trucks last 25 years, so that probably makes sense.
Well, they can last longer than that. They just
Yeah,
can't be
but,
used as a first
yeah.
run technically.
Yeah, the state has kind of wiped them out after 25.
All right, next up, approve Mike Carter's retirement from full-time motor equipment operator effective April 30th.
Congratulations, to
Yes.
Mike.
20 years with the village.
I'm all in on that. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I like Mike.
Yeah, no, he's a great
I like them
guy.
all, actually.
Yeah,
His
No.
retirement party is Friday at noon at the community building.
Oh, damn.
I would be there, but I will be in Albany.
Uh,
Coming home, well, at NICOM, yeah, I'll be at NICOM. Or no, wait, this Friday I'll be in Albany for something else.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. Okay, create part-time motor equipment operator position.
This
I'll
is
make
the-
a motion that we do, because
Yeah.
obviously the DPW needs it, so I'm in.
I'll second that.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, appoint Mike Carter to part-time motor equipment operator position effective May 3rd at $20.60 an hour.
This is an ad-needed position, just so you know, it's not calling in every day, it's calling in only when it's
When we need 'em,
needed,
yep.
specifically fire trucks or DPW work or mechanical.
He's so flexible and versatile. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
great guy to, just, and he probably wants to keep his finger in it a little bit, which I don't blame him. I'll make that, oh, go ahead. Pat.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Mike Carter to part-time motor equipment operator position effective May 3rd at $20.60 an hour.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Approve appointment of 2 recreation coaches.
So these 2 coaches, we're basically holding where we used to have camps. And these are going through our rec program as we required and going through ZAP.
Excellent.
And we're not technically making money, but we're not losing money. So the rate of pay comes based on how many kids after expenses.
Oh,
And
good.
then they're adults, so they get stipends for that.
Good.
And it will cover the taxes and everything.
Seems like a no-brainer.
I'll make the motion that we approve the 2 rec coaches.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good. Let's see here. Discussion of members needed for various boards and committees, right? We still need someone for the book. Do we need full members for zoning and planning or
We
alternates?
most likely need full members plus alternates. One
Okay.
has told me they are resigning, but hasn't officially yet,
Okay,
and possibly another.
all right, so we're looking for full members and potentially alternates for zoning, planning, and rec. These are paid. Were you raising your hand? What do you?
Yes. Do we need a full member for
planning?
No, just an alternate.
I think he's volunteer.
What?
I have discussed with a potential alternate for planning. I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, good. All right, so then we need a full member and potentially an alternate for zoning. And we probably need at least one, if not more, for rec committee, right?
I don't know how many you have.
Yeah, no, we're looking, starting to rebuild the rec committee, which has been dormant for the past 2 years. So looking for people with an interest in, supporting the work that Zach is doing throughout the village. There's been a lot of emphasis on sports historically, and that's going to continue, but we really want to think beyond that. So people with, kids who partake in the rec programs or of other ages, or have connections with the library or the schools who have been great partners to our recreation department would be very helpful. But anybody with an interest in learning more about the opportunity, I encourage you to contact the village and I'll
We
talk
also
to you
use,
more.
we also used to have a senior rep. Because the
Right.
senior programs go
Oh,
through
right.
rec
Okay.
too, so.
Oh, yeah, so we got a senior. And these are, you get paid for coming to meetings. It's $25 for a meeting.
We changed it
We
in
did?
the budget. It's 50 a meeting and
50 a
75
meeting.
for the chair.
All right, I'm signing up for all three. All right. I think that's all we have except for executive session where we need to go talk about a personnel matter.
Other we need to talk to an attorney.
Dante, you got anything?
I'm gonna have some questions for you in exec, but
Sure.
not here. No, yep.
All right, board members, you got anything?
Just questions.
Okay.
How's our dam coming? I know we had some issues with somebody needed to get back or fill out something. Is it coming along? Do you need us to jump in or how's it coming?
We
So-
still have an open contract with Keystone to do the mussel study that needs to be done first before the dam is removed. I've reached out to them. I have not heard back yet.
Well, let's give them a couple of weeks and if they don't do that, we'll put them in default and we'll find somebody else. How's that?
Yeah, we can get out of the contract. I'm just notified.
I don't know. I mean, we gotta
Yeah,
get
we gotta get it
moving on
done.
this. I'm sure they'll do it. You just
Yeah.
reach out to them, you know.
What else you got?
Okay, so that's it. Route 11, I see that they've scraped up a lot of the dirt. They haven't put down any topsoil. I see a lot of stony stuff, which is our normal stuff.
I
So
think they
that's
put down
coming along.
topsoil.
They are.
I think they
So that's
did,
coming along pretty
Not on
well.
our side.
not on our side.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's coming. We're
Yeah.
working. It's so. Last night we had a economic development committee meeting, and the last hour we talked about the smart cities monies because we saved some money on putting in LED lights. So they came in. Correct me if I'm wrong now.
Uh-huh.
We came in under budget, so we have like $20,000 under budget that was already there. And so if we could kick in another $20,000 of tax money to put in 40,000, they'll give you a grant of 60,000 on top of it to make it 100. If you don't want to use $20,000 of tax money, they're only going to give you 20,000 to make it 40,000 total. And part of that money's the chief has figured out that he wants to put a bunch of cameras around the village and for traffic accidents and stuff like we don't want happening on Albany Street where we had a resident run down and the truck got away. It's a red truck. Nobody's seen it. It's probably moved now. But anyhow, that kind of thing. So I was thinking, I kind of like the idea with the Wi-Fi and the nodes. Now, food for thought. The village has, a long time ago, when we had fire pole boxes all around the village. That's why you see 6 beeps on the horn for the fire department. And that means 6 short beeps means come to the firehouse. They have the lines that go all the way to like the middle school. That might have been 2 short, 4 long. So everybody would jump in their cars because they're volunteers and head to that callbacks. So we have all those lines that go all the way from Albany Street to the right out front here. It goes up Clinton to the middle school. It goes up James Street to the police department. You can see them, they're ratty lines there, and the insulation's falling off of it. And then it goes up Cayuga, goes over Cortland, and goes up Center Street all the way to the high school. So what you have here is you have free access on the telephone poles. They're grandfathered in. You don't have to rent hookups on those poles. They're grandfathered. So if we wanted to put some of that money towards running, say, fiber optic, we do have LED lights with power, no different than what you were talking about on these light posts on Main Street, because they have the same outlets, I assume, for power for
Yeah.
these nodes. You could actually get a lot more of the village with Wi-Fi. And all you'd have to do is replace that line.
With fiber optic line. which
Or whatever.
I'm not really sure how much that would cost.
Well, how much is it? It's only a couple miles worth. I mean, you got $100,000, you got a guy in a lift truck.
Well, yeah, but we can't spend $100,000 on anything we want. It has to go through the smart cities
I
program.
understand, but it's more nodes and it may be more advantageous. Food for thought. I'm not saying,
Right.
jump on swords or anything here, but it would give you maybe more access for Wi-Fi and powering cameras or whatever, because it goes all the way up to Center Street, so you'd be right next to the school, so 281 might get a little.
$1 a foot, between $1 and $5 a foot.
All right, so that's $10,000, 2 miles worth. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it may be worth thinking about, because remember, that's going to be up in there for 5 years. These nodes last 5 years. That may be something, and especially if we start something, and that gives us pressure on the DRI, because, hey, we've got investment, we're doing stuff with the community that might give us that little extra boost to get the $10 million, which could actually flush that out some, or flush it out. That wasn't good, was it? But sorry, Buzz, but I'm getting into the sewer business. But anyhow, it might be food for thought, because they're just sitting there. And that means you don't have to rent the money from the National Grid, because it's already grandfathered in. So that saves you a ton of money. Food for thought, guys.
All right,
That's all. Over.
all right. Elizabeth, do you have anything?
I do want to just comment on what Ed's brought up now. I think it's really exciting to imagine, if Wi-Fi is coming to the downtown area of our village, how many people, individuals and businesses, and maybe the school or the Center for the Arts are really going to want to tap into that as a way of saving some money for themselves, getting access to the faster Wi-Fi. And if we see it leading to more innovation and development and use, and we're saving some of our residents some money, that's a great idea. I
It's
think.
$50
How
a
could that
month
be?
for Spectrum right now.
Right.
It may not help me on Warren Street, because it may be too far, but people in Clinton, James Street, Cortland Avenue, a portion of
Right.
Cayuga, and all the way up Center Street on either side, and all the way down to Albany. Not that we have a lot of business, nice homes down there, which is very nice.
And if we find out, that people are looking to use it, who happen to live in that corridor where it's going to start, it'd be great to think about it.
Plus you have Main
so that
Street,
other
too.
families could take advantage.
You have Main Street, so
Yep.
we have the Magic on Main where all 1,000 people can sign on. Of course, they should be partying, not looking at movies, but well, who knows what people do these days. Anyhow, yeah.
All right, Patrick.
Reviewing some of the meeting minutes, and we discussed this briefly, was Ed had a question about cost of penalties for fire inspections. And looking in the code book, talking with staff, there wasn't anything specifically outlined. We have up to a $200 a day for civil penalties in there. But I think I haven't had a chance to talk with our fire inspector, Adam Brown, but I will do that. I think $200 a day might be a little steep, but we probably need to have something
We need
included
something.
in that. So we have something there that we can probably enforce, but we probably need something a little bit better.
Hey, which is it in the community building or in the fire station?
The fire station.
And then the The other thing is the CCTVS, the county, city, towns, villages. They've got that going again. Okay, because they're doing a presentation from Southern Tier 8 Regional Planning on grant opportunities.
Yep.
And then the last thing I know, somebody had brought up about the bus shelter at the last meeting. We are still waiting. I just sent an email to Tricia Jessett at the County Director of Planning to see if they'd heard anything. We were still looking at April as a ship date. I haven't heard anything, so I just asked her if she'd heard anything, but that is the update on the bus shelter. And once we get those parts in, then we'll start pouring the slab and getting everything else going. And that's all I have.
Kevin, you got anything?
Oh, a little bit. Just one more quick thing. I was talking about the Route 11. Did you see where they raised the billboard up? It's not around the anymore, way up high. I like it.
That's
Oh, I haven't looked at it yet.
Next to the.
Yeah. You think it looks better?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay.
I don't know, they just like it.
It's now double-sided, and they're gonna come back later and get the rest of those posts that were close to the ground out later.
Okay, I have a resident that's concerned about mosquitoes in the swamp that's over.
Sure.
I was talking to Pat about it. He gave me some information that I can relay to the residents so that he knows that we're taking a look at it. There's not a lot the village can do because we don't own it.
We could be given it, Lime Hollow would give it to us if we wanted it.
Yeah, I think they're willing to give it
And
back.
that may be
but-
part of the DRI kind of thing. If you wanted to put a boardwalk into it,
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea of,
Scott's property there could be redeveloped. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with it, but that could be something.
yeah,
A question for you. During our DRI discussions, they talk about entrances to the village. Is there something like you could do like the old Wild West where you went into the Bar X ranch over the top of the gate? Could we do something like that over Route 90 up there and Route 41 to say, hey, Old Town this way, welcome to Old Town Homer, off of
I mean, you
281?
can, they've
That
got
would
them
be-
down in Binghamton,
That would make a grand entrance
sure, but yeah, that's,
on
They're stone.
Clinton and- Too dumb, huh?
no, I don't think they're too dumb, I think it's maybe a little spendy, but
Well, that's what the DRI is for. That's what I'm saying. I'm just thinking, you
Yeah.
know, that
I don't
helps.
know if
Because
they can.
21, I don't know what to do. You jazz up your,
State highway though.
so
It's not a.
they put bridges over state highways, so what? And they do walking things. I've seen places where they have, where they have bridges where people can walk over state highways. So what's the difference? And then you can hang a banner on that walkway. I don't know, just ideas. I mean, how do we get 281 to pop? Because, you got 11,000 cars a day there and we can only get 2,000 on Route 11 here. So,
We're making some.
yeah. but I'm
it's
just-
gonna be a part of the focus of the DRI,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, food for thought for you to think about. I like that idea.
That's the only reason I brought up the swamp thing is because of mosquitoes.
Sure, and I think without even us owning it, we can contact the DEC and they should be able to spray. I mean, they spray all the time up in Onondaga, so
Yeah.
they should be able to just come and spray.
Okay, so we're moving along as far as the flower boxes and permission. I've got permission, 41 in Clinton from the state. I finally tracked down who owned that parcel on the corner of 281 in Cayuga. 7-Eleven now owns that.
Yeah, same people own, yeah, the gas station there.
I talked to the lady that's in charge of the real estate. Pat helped me a little bit there. All I gotta do is send her some pictures of what we intend to do, and I think she's all good with that, so that's good to go.
Excellent.
And I still had a couple residents asking me recycling questions, but I think I answered them correctly.
All right,
So
very good.
That's good for me.
That's good for you. All right, I've got nothing. Questions from the media? Don,
Nothing from here.
nothing. Brad? Eddie?
You were unmuted before, Brad, but we didn't hear you. You're muted again.
Will you please go over? What's his question?
Yeah, I think he's having some issues with his audio.
please go over what is part
No, no questions.
of the sewer project and how it will be funded? Oh, for love of Christ, that's a long answer. We'll get you the document. Patty. That's, yeah. Sorry, we'll get you the document on that. Yep,
Grants and bonds.
yep. All right. Is that it? All right, we need to go into executive session, to talk about personnel matter.
Could I do a real quick shout out, Hal,
Sure can.
to the residents of Homer? I received my trees 2 days ago, 38 new trees for spring planting. Excuse me. I got a pretty good list going, but if somebody in the last couple of years that maybe I have missed, could you just call the street department at 749-3813 and leave a message on my answer machine, and I will get back to you as soon as I can to possibly get you a tree.
Very
I
good.
know the village is gonna send out some stuff for the people, the list that I did give out already, so
Good. All right,
that's it. Thank you.
very good. We have a motion to go into executive.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive, as you stated, to handle executive decisions on personnel, real estate, and other